Well, g'day, curd nerds. G'day, curd nerds. Well, 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 g'day, curd nerds. Welcome back. I'm Gavin Webber, the host of the show. This is Ask the Cheeseman, episode 351. Thank you so much for joining me here today. It's lovely to see everybody in the chat. Lots of people, which is absolutely fantastic. Okay, first of all, let's, as we always do on the show, say g'day to all of the YouTube members. Recent ones that are signed up. We've got Habib, we've got MiG76, Toxinius, oh goodness me, Dylan Radovich, we got Franco Ferraris, we got Doot Squared, Robser Rodson, Sova J, Barlek, I don't know how to pronounce that, and someone actually as the latest YouTube members. Thank you everybody, and thanks to everybody else on the screen there. Long-time members especially, thank you so much for your membership. Of course, there's the patrons. Latest patron was Persnickety. Thank you, Persnickety, for joining. I don't think he'll be here today in the chat because he's working nights at the moment. But thank you to all of the other patrons who have signed up for early access and a whole bunch of other perks that you get. Without your patronage, the show wouldn't go on. So thank you so much. What else we got? We've got, and now I realise it's been 4 weeks since my last tutorial video, but that'll be rectified this week. Got a couple of treats coming up. Let me just bring up the Trello board, which is my video production board. Let's just have a look. Here we go. So, the formaggio I've made, all the 4 cheeses. I've had a video meeting with the CEO of the company. I've worked through some concerns. I've seen some actions, which is really good, on their behalf, and some actions on mine. And I'm about a quarter of the way through editing the video. It's going to be a perler. So I won't give away any of the secrets, but yeah, so the formaggio video is finished filming, it's in editing, I've finished all the meetings and we're ready to go. All right, and also this week I'll be doing the shoot for the Goat, Sheep, Buffalo, The Milky Journey to Amazing Cheese. I'm not sure if that's the title, it's close, but I'm not quite sure. There's got to be the word exotic in there somewhere, I reckon, so that'll be good. Also, on the 14th, which is, when's the 14th? 14th is next Monday. There will be Titanic Cheese's St. Ivel, and we'll have that one. I'm filming the rest of it today. I've made the cheese. I've got to taste the cheese today to see if it's okay and fairly close to the original recipe. So that'll be good fun as well. And we've got some dress-ups going on and all sorts. Green screens. Whoa. Oh, big production. The Mount Cottrell cheese, I've got to remake it. I've probably said that before. And I'm just putting the finishing touches on the shoot for the veggie patch. Even though the summer veggie patch is now gone, we're into winter. And I'll start planting that out in during Easter, during the Easter break. Or maybe a little bit earlier. But yeah, all good. Merv has a question already and says, will there be a show next week as it's Easter? Yeah, for sure. I have no plans on not streaming, but yes, there will be a show. I don't know how many people will come, but yeah, Easter's just Easter in some countries, not all countries, so I'm here for the whole world. And yeah, a couple of other videos, as you can see there in the pre-planning, but anyway, that's enough of that. Okay, let's put that away. So, yeah, as Merv said, will there be a show next week? Yes, there will be one. Even though it's a 4-day weekend here. Easter is in a yeah, sorry, next week. Yeah, you're right. Shauna, you're 100% right. Easter is in a fortnight, so we've still got a weekend to go before Easter, Merv. You're getting ahead of yourself, I think. So, yeah, definitely one next week, the week after, as long as I stay healthy, of course, and we'll go from there. That's always always something that throws a spanner in the works occasionally. Okay, now don't forget that the gallery is at 30 minutes past the hour. So we have some great gallery photos today to show you from the Kurd Nerd community. And that's about it. Yeah, that's about it. Oh, Moshi River, subscribe to the channel. Thank you, Moshi River. Oh, goodness me. Alrighty, so if you've got any questions, throw them into the chat and we'll get stuck into it. Other than that, I can just keep waffling on about cheese and stuff. Oh, the Hannah Instruments video that's coming. Well, I tell you what, I've something I don't normally share, but I haven't done brand deals that much before, because cheese making doesn't really lend itself to brand deals like other YouTube channels and influencers and sponsors and stuff like that. It's very hard to put that stuff in there, and I only take brand deals that it's stuff that I want to use or have been using, and I have my own store, so it's pretty hard to put brand deals into a channel that you've already got a store attached to. But I didn't realise how long and how many meetings it takes to finalise a brand deal. I've already had 2 meetings with Hannah Instruments, and I got another one on Monday. So to work through the deal, even though I thought the deal was already sorted. So we'll see how that goes. I've got the pH meter; it seems to work fine, but I've only used it twice. But I haven't shown it anywhere because the deal hasn't been finalised. So anyway, that video will come out once we've had a meeting and discussed all the stuff. Lisa came in late. Thank you, Lisa, for popping in. Zombicus Officinalis. Mike has a question. Says, if the pH is too high after curd stirring cooking, do you normally just wait for it to lower? So if you haven't hit the targets that you want to hit, obviously just keep the curds warm. If you stir it too much more, then it's going to get crumbly because there's less moisture in the curds. But yeah, you may just have to put the lid on it and let it wait, and let it settle to the bottom, and wait for the pH to adjust and get more acidic. Because you may not have dosed with enough starter culture, could be one issue, and that's probably the main one. And you just have to wait for the acid to develop to get to the right target. Having said that, and thank you, Mike, for that question. Having said that, I'm going to start putting, and I'll do a separate video about it. I'm going to start phase 2 of the channel, if that makes sense. Even though phase 1's gone on for, what did I say, 16 years or something, where we're going to put, for those who want them, pH measurements into the recipes and put the different steps, and so we can make consistent cheeses. I'll be using guidance from a couple of books. The main couple, Mastering Artisan Cheese Making, this one here. I'm going to be using some of the pH settings from here. We're also going to be using, do I have it? Here it is. Using some of the pH settings from Paul Thomas's book, Homemade Cheese, Artisan Cheese Making Made Simple. So that'll be good fun. Let's pop that one up here today. And I think Lisa, in her book, Confident Cheese Making, has some pH targets as well, but I'll have a look. I'll have a review of that as well. Kim bought me this little rack here to make me look a little bit more organised. But yeah, so that's cool. Alrighty. Matt says, what time do you call this? It's 11 at night and everybody in the UK is full of wine. Yes, well, it makes for a better show, obviously, Matt. But yeah, it's 8:10 in the morning here on Sunday. We've just gone back an hour last night for our daylight savings, but that's what it's going to be like for the next 6 months, unfortunately. Merv is getting ahead of himself. Okay. Pressure's been on. To make more cheese, Merv, I've got some photos of yours. Thank you very much. Mike says consistent cheeses. I'm going to do that someday, indeed. And that is one of the... Using a pH meter is one of the things that's going to help. Even though the recipes that I use and I've created myself and in my 2 books, Keep Calm and Make Cheese and Keep Calm and Make More Cheese, the measurements are consistent there and the timing's inconsistent, but, the one thing that's not consistent is milk, usually. And milk will vary across the world, across the herds and all that sort of stuff. Alrighty, we have a question from Lisa. Says, what could cause raclette's rind to split during affinage? There's a couple of things, Lisa, and one of them would be that the ripening box that you've got it in is not humid enough. Raclette is a washed rind cheese, needs a fairly high humidity, above 90%, to stop it from splitting as it ages, because it does expand a little bit and the texture of the cheese changes into this gooey paste from a chalky paste because of the Brevibacteria linens wash. Having the ripening box not humid enough is one issue. The other one is that it could be due to the starter culture producing gas, and because it's a very fragile, very fragile rind. If there's gas production, it may split as well. So they're the couple of things that I can think of straight off the top of my head. Jose, g'day mate, how are you? Love to see you. Give Rally, g'day Give Rally. First time I've seen a comment from you. I discovered your channel through a certain Italian cheese video that shall not be named. Trying to think of trying my hand at cheese making. Would you recommend starting with that one or not? Probably not. Parmesan is more of an advanced cheese to get right. Plus, you've got to age it for a year. Plus, you've got to have the right aging conditions, like a cheese fridge, set at 13 degrees Celsius. Certainly not the first cheese that I'd make. First cheese that I would make, I'd give a few a go, like ricotta. Nice and simple, very simple. Whether you've got whey or you've got milk, just normal milk, you can make a nice white cheese, soft white cheese with that. Paneer, halloumi. If you want to start learning about rennet, halloumi's a fantastic cheese. Feta is, I just put up a better feta cow's milk recipe on the channel, and that if you really want to start using rennet and a few other things, I think that's probably the best one to start with would be the cow's milk feta. So give that a try. Don't go to harder and semi-harder cheeses until you mastered some of those simple ones first. Because what will happen is that you will get some successes under your belt early, and that'll give you some confidence to try more difficult cheeses. If you start straight away with Parmesan, you're going to be waiting there for 12 months, you don't know what's going on, then you'll start making other cheeses and all that sort of stuff. And you don't know whether they're flops or not as well. So that's my general advice around that. All right, we got a super chat. Thank you so much, Michelle. Let me just turn that off. The book that I got, the culture info page, it's actually on a website. Let me see if I can find it up. It is in a book. Let me just, can I find... Is it still in existence? Let's have a look. It says not secure. Alrighty. Alright, hopefully I won't transmit anything. Right, let's go to the second monitor. So this website here, Artisan Cheese Making at Home by Mary Carlin. There's forms and charts. There's a whole bunch of goodies that you can use here. Comprehensive cultures guide. Is this the one? Let's have a look. And if it is, I'll send. It is. That's the one. Comprehensive Cultures Guide. Hang on, I'll just get the URL. I can't get it out of that mess. Here we are. Hang on 2 seconds, and you can have your own copy. Copy link address. There we go. All right, I'll pop that in the chat just for you, Michelle. There we go. And that'll take you to the PDF. But yeah, there's a few good things on here. Some labels, there's a cheese making template, a whole bunch of other stuff. But this is from Mary Carlin's book. Do I have that one here? Let's have a look. In the bookshelf. Where are we? Yes, I do. I've got a few books, you know. So the Mary Carlin's Artisan Cheese Making at Home that's the website. It has a companion website to it. Does it have those cultures in the book? I've used a few recipes out of here. Some are okay, some are not so okay. Is there a cultures? Oh, no, it's troubleshooting. Come on, give me the cultures. Adding starter cultures, here we go. No, maybe the chart's somewhere else. But yeah, it's not a bad book. It just gives you the basics. It's okay. Like I said, I've used some recipes out of it before. So yeah, there you go. But thanks for your $5 US, Michelle. Really appreciate it. John has a question, says, have you used a dehydrator for cheese powder? If so, does the process take away some of the flavour? No, John, I haven't used I don't own a dehydrator to dehydrate cheese into a powder. Most, from what I can tell and what I've seen, most cheese powders that they add to cooking and stuff like that has been freeze-dried first. And then what they do is they crush it up into, very fine powder after it's freeze-dried. And yeah, that seems to be the way they do it. But anyway, yeah, no, I've never done it, so I don't know what the process is, and don't know if it takes away any flavour either. But all you're essentially doing is taking all the water out of it. So, Harriet, not Marriott. Harriet says, I use a freeze dryer to make cheese powder. There you go. Spot on. And thank you for joining today. Harriet, appreciate it. Fiona, g'day, how are you? Lovely to see you, as always. Don't forget, if you've got any questions, throw them into the chat. It makes for a lively show, I suppose. Goodness me. Now, a few weeks ago, Paul, I think, mentioned in the comments that I should do a book review, and that is in progress. I've actually been rereading some of the cheese making. This is only some of them. I've got some in my other study, in my other studio, which I sit in Friday nights and do a live stream occasionally. But yeah, I've been rereading through some of the books. I've been picking out some of the gems to do a fairly comprehensive book review on what do I think, whether they're for beginners, intermediates or advanced, and what sort of information to expect from the books. Because lots of people love cheese making books, me especially. I seem to collect them. As soon as I see a new one anywhere, I jump onto Amazon and go and buy it. So, yeah. Love a good cheese book. Love them so much I wrote two of my own. So, there you go. Oh, that coffee is nice. Yeah, Harry, that's exactly right. Thank you, Keith. I'd love to understand the process of using a freeze dryer or dehydrator probably won't work. The slices have to be really thin to use a dehydrator, but a freeze dryer, yeah, perfect. Merv, thank you, Merv. Has a question, and I think there's a super sticker going on. Thank you, Mike, for that. I'll get to that one in a second. Mer's question is, making your better cows with a friend today as you used a big basket in the video. I'm using your 110mm feta baskets from your shop. Thanks, mate. How many do I need for the 8 litres in your recipe? For 2 of them. I used 2. Actually, I used 4 when you think about it, because let me bring up did I have an earlier video? Oh, I can't remember. Anyway, so what I did, the square ones, so I filled up 2 with the curds, then I had 2 more put on top and put 2 2-litre milk cartons full of water that I'd sanitize the outside of, and use those as the weights for the press. And then, and that seemed to work all right, and I got decent sized feta. So, yeah, they work. In the past, that's what I've used, the square baskets. I've just moved up to the larger ones because I just thought they were a little bit better. But remembering, you can half the recipe, Merv, so there's no big deal. Just chop everything in half, all the ingredients. Keep the timings and the timings and the pressing times and pressing weights all the same, and then you should be good to go. There you go. It does come up with a super sticker. Thank you for Mike for the $20 US. I appreciate that. John says, have you looked back in the very old recipe articles from around the turn of the century, and how different, if any, has methods changed or not? Yeah, I actually have. I've got a whole swag of PDFs from the Gutenberg project, very old cheese making recipes and stuff, mainly from the US. I think there's a couple of very old books from the UK. I have an old book. It's not here. And one of the steps they usually miss is about sanitization. In any of the stuff, and the recipes are all on the industrial scale. So we're talking like 100 litres of milk, which is 40 gallons, plus and above that. So that all the recipes are industrial scale and talk about the industrial process. I haven't found any home cheese making books since from before. Actually, sorry, I did find one 1950 something, but the first mainstream cheese making book that came out that changed it all was, do I have it here? Yes. Was this one, Home Cheese Making by Ricky Carroll. Kind of started the whole revolution. This is the 3rd edition. So the first edition of this, when did it first come out? Let's have a quick look. I think it was in the 70s. Previous editions. 1982. So 1982, this came out. I think she started her shop. Said it was first published in 1982 as Cheese Making Made Easy, and revised in 1996. So in the US, certainly she started a revival with this book. Like I said, the first edition of this book. So, yeah, she does talk about sanitization, but the steps aren't really clear in there. She talks about bleach, and I think it was before things like Star San was invented, and the no rinse sanitizer for brewers. I remember when I was brewing back in the 80s, we had sodium metabisulfate, which was, you had to rinse that off. And certainly sodium metabisulfate is not very good for cheese because it kills all the bacteria. So, the sanitization is one of the biggest things that I noticed was lacking, or they didn't really describe how they did it. It was kind of like you had to have inside knowledge, John, about those things. So, yeah, and no real home cheese making books. I do have an older one from the 50s, or it could be the 50s, 60s, or 70s, I'm not sure. Found it in an op shop many years ago. Yeah, I'll bring it from the other room next week, and I'll show you that. But thanks, John. Great question. What time is it? It's nearly time for the gallery, Curd Nerds, but we do have another question. This one's from Jeffrey. Thanks, Jeffrey, for saving me bacon there and giving me a bit of time before the gallery. Gavin, making a Colby tomorrow. If my back is okay, have the same issue with your back. Same issue as you with my back. In your book, you use the MO30, and in your video, you use MA4001. Any difference between the two? Yes, indeed, there is. Can I bring up that culture page again? I have it myself somewhere. 2 seconds, mate, and we'll just discuss that because it is important. Cultures, here we go. Talk amongst yourselves for a second. Let's get this full screen so we can show on the... there we go, nearly there. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, to the second monitor. So let me just make this a bit bigger so we can actually read it. So MO30 only has, here it is here. MO30 only has Lactobacillus lactis subspecies lactis and Lactobacillus subspecies cremoris. So it only has 2 starter cultures in it. And it's used for cheddar, Colby, Monterey Jack, feta, Sherv. I wouldn't use it for Sherv, but yeah. It's a moderate to high acidifier with no gas or diacetyl production. Clean flavour, very close texture. And then we go look at a MA4001 or 4000 series. Where is it? Yeah, it's known as it's a farmhouse culture. And it... Right, come on, stop it. Right, it not only has the 2 cultures from MO30, you can't... Can you see this? Yeah, you can see it, sorry. But it also has LD, which is... it makes things buttery. It also has ST, which is Streptococcus thermophilus, which is a thermophilic culture. So it's a moderate acidifier with some gas and diacetyl production. Similar to the bacteria balance in raw milk. Farmhouse culture can be used for most types of cheese, slightly open texture. I find this more resembles when I use 4001, the cheese turns out more like the cheese in the shops. So Colby is a very low acid cheese anyway, so MO30 is fine. You can use MA4001 if you want to have a little bit of a different flavour. But certainly for cheddars and any English style cheddared type cheese like Lancashire, Cheshire, Red Leicester, to name a few, and of course cheddar, then it's probably best if you use MA4001. That's my go-to culture now for those English style cheeses. So I hope that helps, Jeffrey, for you to better make a decision. Harriet says, depending on how you want to use it, we're talking about the dehydrated cheese again. I found that either grating or very thin slices works best. Very good. Thank you, Harriet, for sharing that. How much time we got? We got 1 minute. Time for one more question. John says, I forgot, but when and how did you get interested in cheese making? Yep, there's a story in my book, Keep Calm and Make Cheese. And yeah, it's a big story. But the short of it is I was doing a 100-mile challenge, trying to source all our food from 100 miles around where we are. And at the time, back in the late... when was it? Early 2000s, there weren't many cheese... In fact, I couldn't find any cheese makers or artisan cheese producers in the 100-mile that wasn't industrial type food. So basically, I decided to go on a cheese making course that was at our local community centre, and really from that time on, I was hooked. Absolutely hooked, and got stuck in. I made a cheese every weekend because I had a full-time job. This is my full-time job now, but when I had a full-time job, every weekend I would start making cheese, and I was hooked. It was just great. And then about 10 cheeses into my journey, I thought, why don't I video this? So I went down to Kmart and bought a really cheap 720p video camera. It was worth about $110, and the quality was about $110 worth of quality. And you can see that in my very, very early videos. But thanks, John. Yeah, great question. And I'll get to Mike's question in a second. But first of all, we got the gallery. Let me just bring that up. I love the gallery. The gallery is my favourite part of the show. All right, here we go. So the gallery is brought to you by you, the Curd Nerds. And today we have, this was an April Fool's joke. Shauna sent this in to me, and she's sent a couple of other photos as well. But can we get into that a little bit more? There we go. So from Ashgrove Cheese. Shauna says, hey, Gavin and Kim, Ashgrove Cheese did their bit for April Fool's Day. Sorry, it's in 2 screenshots. Okay, so there's a picture of a cheese that looks like chocolate, right? I don't know how many people ask me, can you put chocolate in cheese? The main answer is no, because it makes the cheese bitter. But anyway, moving right along, there's a bit of a text to it. It says, introducing Ashgrove Choc Cheese. From deep in the Ashgrove labs, we finally created the ultimate sweet and savoury delight. It's a cheese that tastes like chocolate and a chocolate that tastes like cheese. Drop the mic. Available at the dairy door until stocks run out. And this was posted on April 1st in the morning. So I wonder how many people actually turned up to their dairy front door and went asked for the choc cheese. So yeah, good one. It's one of the better April Fools that I've seen, and yeah, some of them we don't even do it. At Little Green Workshops, which Kim and I run, we don't do April Fools. Anyway, moving right along. Shauna's got some more more pictures. This is Shauna's raclette that's in the cheese cave before we start washing it. Made with 16 litres of milk. Goodness me, that is a massive cheese, Shauna. I love the octagonal shape too. I said, it will be interesting to see the final weight when it's finished. And Shauna also has an apron that she bought. It says La Fromagerie. But it's got not all the cheeses. It's got, 17 cheeses on it? All the way from Gruyere, Gorgonzola, Double Gloucester, Caboclo, goodness me, Parmesan, Dutch what? Dutch something, Roquefort, Zelga, oh goodness me, Dana Grit, Pommel. I haven't even heard of some of these cheeses. And I'm supposed to be the cheese man, goodness me. Cheshire, Stilton, Cream Bondon, Camembert, Port Salut, Cheddar, and Wilshire Loaf. Goodness me. Nice apron, though. It'd be nice if I could get a design like that. Anyway, maybe I should put all my cheeses on there. I have to get somebody to draw them. Very nice. I don't know what it's got... Oh, right. So is that like 5 francs, 25 francs? Very nice. It's got the prices. Shauna said, here's my new apron. I couldn't resist it, and it's so similar to the poster I have. Only two cheeses different. Well done. Thanks, mate. The next one is from Persnickety, who says, G'day, Gav. Here's my latest Gouda, crafted on March the 30th, 2025. It spent about 24 hours in the press. Hang on, that's the photos are out of order. Yeah, there it is. 24 hours in the press total, brined for 24 hours, currently air drying. I actually found a good container on Amazon that was large enough to accommodate my 8 to 10 pound cheeses. So happy about that, as it should help with the humidity. All my best to Kim and the doggos. Curd Nerdly, Persnickety. Thanks, Persnickety, appreciate it. if you're watching the replay. But £8 and what's that? 9 ounces. £8 9. Alexa, convert £8 9 ounces into kilograms.
Good morning, Gavin. £8 9 ounces is 3.884 kilograms.
That's big. 3.8 kilograms. That's a big cheese. Should be proud of yourself, Persnickety. Anyway, let's have a look at this container. That is a big container. That'd be good for brining as well. Nice if you're making big cheeses. So, yeah, absolutely perfect. So, good find, that one. And I see you got a moist tea towel under the bottom, and you got a mat, and then some matte gauze. So, yeah, good for ripening as well. It's got a lid. So, perfect. Okay, so the next one is from Merv. Merv's in there. Maybe I got yours back the front too, Merv. Hang on. Right, so let's start there. Merv sent in, he says, here you go, Gav. My setup made the Hispanico cheese without the Hispanico basket, but I'll send pics at the end of the week. So this is it air drying. This is the Hispanico here, and then then he's got, there's the rub on it there using the smoked paprika and olive oil, and you can add a little bit of white pepper too if you need to, but it's looking pretty good. So yeah, nice ripening box, good fit. So it'll turn out nice, mate. So well done, congratulations. Also, this is Merv's setup, because I asked for some setup photos to make a setup video. So Merv obliged. Let me just zoom in so we can get the whole thing there. He's even got my Hispanico recipe. Very nice. Good on you, mate. So the first picture is the setup. So he's got his sous vide in there. He's got a bain-marie. He's got his pot. He's got an external thermometer. He's got the works. He's got everything sanitized there, all laid out. I'll tell you what, fantastic, Merv. You've got a fantastic setup there, mate. Congratulations. And then you've got you're sanitizing everything there using Star San or some sort of no rinse sanitizer, the whole lot. So that's fantastic. Well done, mate. I think that's it. Yeah, that's it. Merv says, see you tomorrow on the show. Yes, indeed. Thanks, Merv. So that's it. That's the last of the photos. It's like a science laboratory, John says. Yeah, it a little bit. But, yeah, nice cheese-making area. Well done, mate. Alrighty. So, if you want to send in photos to your to the gallery, then you can do so over... Let me just get rid of that so I can see my head. You can do so over on the channel page. I'll show you how once we get there. Where are we? I'll refresh that, Gav. It's been a while. Alrighty, there we go. So if you pop over to the channel page, go look for Gavin Webber. Can't miss him. Good looking bloke. And you pop over to here where it says, do you want to become a curd nerd? You can just click on this anywhere and it pops up this thing. And then you go down to the view email address, click on that, and it'll ask you to log on if you're not already logged on. And that's where you can find the email address that you can send your photos to me. So send your photos to that email address and any correspondence that you want to talk to me about, stuff, cheese related, please. And yeah, we can go from there. But yeah, that's how you do it on the channel page. Alrighty, so we've got some more questions coming in, which is absolutely fantastic. Let me just get into that. Where are we? Before I do, though, it's tradition here, if I've got a bit of cash, then we can gift. Here we go. Can I gift some? Hey, there we go. So, I think it's working. There we go, it's done. Good. I've just gifted some... people are picking up memberships. Nice, very good. Thank you very much. Well done to Erling Olsen, Lux Capacitor, Shannon Vans, Grandpa Barbecue Game Cat, and Scotty Orange for picking up the memberships that I just threw down. Hope you enjoy the perks that come with those. Anyway, back to questions. Mike has a question. He says, I ran across a grocery store that sells raw milk, and it's labelled for animal use only. And there's a super chat. Thank you, Lisa. I'll get to that in a second. Right, and it's labelled for animal use only. I'm considering trying it out and pasteurising it myself. Anything else I should do is a dumb idea. Not necessarily, Mike. It's not so much of a dumb idea. In fact, the only way they can sell raw milk here in Victoria, because it's illegal, they actually have to call it bath milk, and they were getting away with that for many years until the Victorian government put a stop to it. And in the raw milk here, they now have to add a bittering agent. In fact, it's the same bittering agent that's added to isopropyl alcohol to stop people from drinking that. So the bittering agent goes in. You can only bathe in it. You can't even feed it to pets anymore. It may be one of the jail-free things they've put on the milk there for animal use only, but it depends. If it's anything like here in Victoria, I think New South Wales do it here in Australia as well, by putting in a bittering agent, you won't be able to use it anyway. So it'll taste bloody horrible. You wouldn't even be able to pasteurise it. So check that out. See if they do that first. If not, if it's fresh, I would say within 3 days of milking, okay, doesn't matter what temperature they store it at, it can get bacteria in it. If it's within 3 days of milking and the milk's fresh, probably okay. If you home pasteurise it, even better. But yeah, within 3 days. Raw milk has very stringent guidelines, testing guidelines, and like I said, they just don't, it's banned for sale here in Australia. Well, in Victoria anyway, and New South Wales I know for sure. So not such a dumb idea, just check a few things out before you even think about it. How do you say that? Gluge. I hope I said that right. Is it possible to age strained yogurt as a cheese if you add some salt, let it dry, and bit and develop a rind? Not so much. There is a cheese called Labana from the Middle East. It has different names, but it's just strained yogurt cheese. It's used a lot with flatbread, and they drizzle olive oil and nuts and all sorts of stuff over the top of it. It's a nice cheese. It's just strained yogurt. It's too moist to even, it doesn't matter how long you strain it, it's still too moist to develop into a harder cheese. So no, you won't be able to do that. John has another question. Says, Gavin, it would be cool if you sample several cheeses blindfold, see how you did. Yes. It'd be good to try different... I'm trying to think of a situation that would be comical enough to do a video on it. Any suggestions, let me know. Different types of cheddar or different types of cheese to see if I actually knew what they were. That would be good. And I have to get Kim in on the video, but she's very shy, so she probably won't. Okay, Jeff has a question. Says, Heidi and I went to Queen Vic Market yesterday and found a cheddar with roasted garlic called Green Thunder by Snowdonia. So Snowdonia are a Welsh cheese-making company, and with those sorts of cheeses, what they do, Jeff, is they mill the cheese after it's matured, and then they add in the thing. So the garlic's not in there when it's maturing. Garlic leads to botulism usually in longer aged cheeses if you put it in there. So what they do is they mill the cheese, put the roasted garlic in, repress it again, and then package it in wax and have a very short use before date on there. So there you go. Sorry, we didn't get to the super chat from Lisa. Sorry, Lisa. We'll get the light going again. I wrap bamboo strips. I'll start again. I wrapped strips of bamboo sushi mat around the sides of my raclette because cheese was oozing out of the crack. Is that bad, okay, or just dumb? No, not so bad, because if you have a look at what's the cheese called? Mont d'Or, which is Mount Gold. It's the spruce bark wrapped cheese. That cheese is a washed rind cheese to start with before they put the spruce bark around it. And they do that to hold it in place because the rind does crack on that when it does go gooey and all that sort of stuff. Long Paddock Cheese here in Victoria make a version of it. What do they call their version? I had some little recipe cards. No, they're not in my rack. But anyway, I can't remember the name of the cheese. But yeah, it's based on Mont d'Or, and it's bark wrapped around it, and that holds it in place. Not such a bad idea as long as the sushi mat was sanitised. So you either use no rinse sanitizer or you boil the mat, and I think that's probably okay. So yeah, hopefully that'll be good and that'll keep it all together. And the follow-up is that's what I based my decision to wrap it on. I don't think you'll have too many problems. It'll keep it in place and stop oozing. It'll work. It'll work. Send me a picture once it's all done and you've tasted it. So that'll be interesting. Although raclette tends to be a bit firmer in the family of washed cheese of cheeses. So the washed rind, sorry, not washed curd, washed rind cheeses. Next question is from Gluge again. If I'm able to reduce the moisture content, would it be possible then, say pressing, how would I be able to tell if the aging is fair? Bad smell when cutting up? Yeah, it would. It would stink because the acid development in yogurt is really high. So the pH level is so low, so you're talking below 4.0. So it's a very acidic thing anyway. If you hang it in cloth or a bag for 12 to 24 hours, it's going to increase the acidity because the temperature's higher, so the reaction starts faster. I don't know how much lactic bacteria is left in the yogurt. There should be a fair bit anyway if it's fresh. But yeah, you're going to have to heavily salt that if you're thinking of even making something of a pressed cheese with it. So you can try it out. Look, it's not gonna if as long as you heavily salt it to stop any more lactic bacteria activity, and when you do ripen it at 13 degrees Celsius or below. Don't ripen at room temperature. It's just going to go rancid. See what happens. You know, all cheeses are experimentation. I find that to be true, and that's how so many cheeses have been invented throughout the world. So there you go. Dominic said, I made something akin to fromage blanc by putting kefir through a cheesecloth. Yeah, that'll work. And it'll be quite soft and creamy too, Dominic. So it sounds very nice. Chris Garton says, Ash's book has a recipe to turn yogurt into blue cheese, drained, then salted, and drained, and blue spores added, shaped, moulded. Don't remember all the info. Indeed, I read that book, Chris, and I've seen videos with David Asher in it recently, and he's actually said that some of the practices in that book are actually dangerous. So, yeah, and when the author says that, I don't know why he hasn't withdrawn the book. It's pretty hard to, I suppose, when people have bought it. But yeah, some of the practices, one of the main things that always concerned me with that book was when you try to grow your own blue mould on rye bread, you don't know what other moulds are going to be present on that rye bread when you scrape off the blue mould and put it into your cheese. You really don't. Unless you're pulling blue mould from an existing cheese, you really don't know what you're going to get, or using, the direct fat inoculated sachets that I use and sell as well. So, yeah, it's very hit and miss. And he's come out and said he probably shouldn't release that info in a book because there's so much bad information in there, unfortunately. Anyway, another question. How much salt is heavily salted? 3% by weight. Yes, 3% is Well, you've got to remember cheddars and some cheddar derivatives are between 2 and 2.5% salt per weight. 3% would be very salty. That'll be around like a feta, a heavily salted feta. Fetas are pickled cheeses. They're not really salted cheeses. They're pickled because they are left in the brine for real feta, up to 12 months. Some even longer in the brine barrel. And they use oak wine barrels, and store all the cheese in those. But 3%, yeah, that'll work. And hopefully that'll come out okay. And you said, I'll give it a try and send a picture with a description on how it went. That would be absolutely lovely. Thank you so much. John says, have I tried Sakura cheese? No, I haven't. Let's have a look, see what the heck that is. I know it's a form of sushi. All right, let's have a look. Second one is a Sakura cheese. What's Wikipedia say? It says it's literally Sakura is cherry blossom cheese. There's a soft cheese in Japan, and there's the picture. Okay, it's got a bit of a white rind going on. I haven't seen it. I haven't heard of it before. Sakura is a camembert style that is washed in local sake, dusted with local harvested Dutch myrtle and sasayuki, and wrapped in bamboo leaves picked on the producer's farm. The word Sakura means cherry blossom in English, and is widely recognised as a symbol of Japan and Japanese culture. And it goes on a little bit. Not much more info. So yeah, it's a unique Japanese cheese. Very nice. No, I haven't tried it, John. I'll have to see if I can get my hands on some. That would be interesting. Alrighty, let me just get rid of that. Chris says, agreed, but it does say in the book that only use blue spores from shop-bought cheese on fresh bread. One of the Roque 40 producers still do it this way, but they probably test it. Yes, they probably do. But yeah, good point. And like I said, I've seen him in videos since where he's stated other things. David said, what's a good starter cheese for a first-timer? I mentioned it already during the stream, but go for do whole milk ricotta, try some paneer, try some halloumi, try making some feta. I just put up a better feta recipe, so try that, David. And then move on to something else. What's a good one? Caffilli is a good one. Guido's hard Italian cheese, nice and quick as well, and you can eat that in 3 weeks. You can eat the Caffilli in 3 weeks. Yesterday's cheese that Tracy's Johnson's produced over at cheeseknees.com. Yesterday's, I've got a video on that as well. Yesterday's, you can eat it the next day, although it's a very, very mild cheese, low acidity. But yeah, there you go, David. There's some cheeses for you. We've got 8 minutes to go, so throw in your last questions into the chat and we'll get into those. Thank you so much for joining today. It's been great. Like I said, coming up next, before the 14th, which was the day the Titanic sank, we will be doing one of the cheeses that was on the lunch menu for first-class passengers. It was on the cheese platter right down the bottom. Do I have a picture? I'll have a picture of the menu itself. Let's see if I can dig that up before the stream finishes. Gav, where's your St. Ivel cheeses? Is this going to be good enough quality? Oh, yeah, it will. Nice. Here we go. I've got the second one. So this is the menu, the luncheon menu for the RMS Titanic for first-class passengers. And besides a lot of other fantastic foods, down here in the cheese section, Cheshire, Stilton, Gorgonzola, Edam, Camembert, Roquefort, St. Ivel, and Cheddar. So St. Ivel cheese, hopefully that's not St. Ivel Cheddar, because I don't think there was any such thing back in 1912. From what I can tell on all the research I've done heaps and heaps of research, it's a soft lactic cheese that tastes a little bit like cheddar. There's no recipe. It went extinct. The cheese did. The factory got taken over and then shut down by Sapuro. So St. Ivel cheese doesn't exist anymore. Kim says she remembers a spreadable cheese by St. Ivel, which was like a cream cheese. But yeah, in this instance and the research that I've done, St. Ivel cheese it was a lactic set cheese that kind of tasted like cheddar. Anyway, so that's coming up on the 14th. We're going to release that video. I've made the cheese. I'm going to taste it today, the first one. I've made 4 of them to see, to give it a bit of time. Never having made a lactic cheese that tasted like cheddar before, or something like it anyway. But that's what we're going to achieve. I'm very excited about that. Kim is too, because there's actually a special story. I may have mentioned it before, I may not have, and there is a family link to the Titanic, but I'll talk about that during the video. So that should be very exciting. We're very excited by that. Sebastian, nice to see you. Hey Gavin, I confirm that Guido's is good after 3 weeks, but the good side is that it's awesome after 6 months and wonderful after a year. It's the Swiss knife of cheeses. Yeah, I let a bit of Guido's go in the cheese fridge for about 3 months, because I tried it at 3 weeks on the video. And then I let it go for about 3 months, and it tasted amazing. It really does age out really well. It has the right salt content, all that sort of stuff. So the Guido's hard Italian cheese, and I've got a recipe on the channel. Can we find it in the time I've got left? Let me just have a quick look. Hard Italian cheeses. Does it come up? Here we go. Yeah, Guido's. There we go. Easy Italian style cheese, ready to eat in 3 weeks. And there it is there. There's the ingredients list. With this thermophilic culture, that is called Thermo B, but I have used in the past, I've made it a few times now, I've used MOT 92 that I sell in the store, which has a few more thermophilic cultures than this. It's got LH and a few other bits, but yeah, it works fine. So nice simple cheese. Let me just get the link for you. Sharing, copy, and pop that into the chat. There we go. Okay, back to my head. So yeah, so great cheese, Guido's hard Italian cheese. Go and check that out. Michelle, lots of people have said, Dominic says, my first cheese was chili queso fresco. That's another nice cheese. In fact, I made it the other day using the Formaggio machine, because it was one of the test cheeses I used, and I had to do a few things to it, because the Formaggio doesn't come with a basket or a mould that you press the cheese in, so I had to do that myself, but I just made normal queso fresco, and it was just beautiful. Absolutely lovely. Jeffrey says all of those cheeses would have been well salted. Nice one. I like that. But the poor 15,000, no, not 15,000, 1,500 souls that went down with the cheese probably wouldn't agree with you. Zombicus Visionalis says, I can't wait to watch that video. And Michelle says, I love the Titanic cheese idea. Thank you. Yes, it was Kim's idea. My idea about the cheeses, I was not going to go as fancy in the video. And she said, why don't you dig up your old Navy uniform and wear that? I went, oh, will it fit? Anyway, there's going to be lots of fun and games and blue screens and stuff. Anyway, John has a question and says, do all cheeses have varieties with their categories? Cheddar. Yeah, look, basically, I have a list on my channel. Can I find it? Quickly, I'm going over time here, just for you, John, because I like you. If we go to playlists and we have a look at the playlists on the second monitor, so playlists that I have, we have lots. Where's all the cheeses? So we have, where's the beginners? So we have, start here, sweet curd cheeses. Then we've got lactic cheeses, mould ripened cheeses, washed curd cheeses, cooked pressed cheeses, stretch curd cheeses, ethnic cheeses, washed rind cheeses. Do I have any others? Oh, vegan cheeses, of course. They're the main categories that I have listed in my playlists. So yeah, they work for me, and that's how I categorise all the cheeses on the channel when I do a video. Mike says, my Old Navy uniform wouldn't fit on my thigh. Yeah, my jacket doesn't do up, so we'll have to making some adjustments to that today. Kim's doing a bit of little bit of what's it called? Needlework. She's breaking out her needlework skills, and she's going to make the jacket not fit, but it'll fit. As long as I don't turn around. Anyway, that's it. Anyway, thank you so much, everybody, for watching. It's been a pleasure, as always, to talk to you in the chat and answer your questions. Hopefully you've enjoyed the show. It wouldn't have been a show without me giving it a plug. The Curd Nerd Academy, if you want to learn how to make cheese yourself in a structured manner. Got 2 courses over there, working on a third. And you can also find my cheese making ebooks over there as well. That's at, if you missed it, that's at courses.littlegreenworkshops.com.au. Also, don't forget that you can pick up supplies over at littlegreenworkshops.com.au and pick up some amazing merch over at merch.cheeseman.tv, including this amazing coffee mug. Can we see what it says? Is it going to work? Talk curdy to me with the goat. I love it. Thanks, everybody. And everybody's waving goodbye. Thanks, everybody. Thanks for watching. And I will see you next week. Same time, same channel. No more daylight savings. Time's changing. So it'll be steady now for 6 months. Anyway, thanks for watching, Curd Nerds. And I'll see you next time. Bye.